I feel like no matter what, I was just going to be disappointed with what we get because ultimately the source material is not something that I enjoy. And I've been hoping that the adaptation makes enough changes where I could get on board with this. And so far, there are like some changes here and there that I've liked. But in terms of the overall story, it's still falling flat for me. The revenge story overall is like the main problem. It's just stupid to go out and get revenge in this way. What is up, beautiful people of Seattle? Day 3. Let's go. Give it up for day 3. Day 3. Cue the Mr. Krabs me.
15. Give it up for day 15.
Day 3.
I'm sad. I'm really sad.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Most Potato Podcast. My name is Alvin.
I'm Jess.
Today, we are obviously talking about The Last of Us, Episode 7, season finale. And this does not feel like a season finale. I'm just going to go ahead and say this is one of the worst season finales I've experienced. I mean that in like the not good way. Like this wasn't a good way to end a season.
You're emotionally broken like me?
Not quite.
Oh, okay.
More just like, why did we end it with this? Why wasn't this season longer?
Well, you kind of predicted this.
I did, and it doesn't make me any less upset.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about everything in this episode, all our feels, all our thoughts. We can talk a little bit about our feelings about the season as a whole as well towards the end. Right now, let's go over our positives. How do we feel on the things that we liked on this episode?
I don't have anything positive. I'm just really sad, guys. Like, I'm sad and I have a lot of feelings, but like...
Dig deep, like just even make up a fake positive. I will say I really liked the realism that they continue to do with the adaptation of The Last of Us. Mm-hmm. Seeing Dina in extreme pain with an arrow through her leg just reminded me of like, oh yeah, you can't just casually pull off arrows off your body like in the video game.
I liked that. That was nice.
And I want to be clear, I don't like Dina suffering. I think that was horrible to watch, but I really appreciate that they took the time to sit with the consequences of the actions that these characters like decide on.
Yeah.
I really felt for Dina just like with this giant thick arrow, and that the fact that Jesse has to push it through on the other way because of that speared end.
Yeah.
I was just like, oof. And then I like that little clever way of like giving Jesse the clues that Dina's pregnant because she denies the alcohol. Mm-hmm. And then what else did he say?
No, she said I can't die.
Like, I don't want to die.
Yeah, I can't die. So yeah, he put that together and I was just like, oh.
So once again, the acting from everybody all around is fantastic. Mm-hmm. All the characters feel, for the most part, believable with the acting. The writing, we can get into that. But
do we have to? I mean, I've been saying that. I feel like the whole season, the writing...
It just continues to bother me. But yeah. I'll stay on the positives for now. I liked the rain.
Wait, you act like it wasn't raining in like previous episodes.
No. I know. I was just I'm being facetious.
Okay.
Yes.
Facetious.
Yes. But yeah, the acting overall is really good. The cinematography, beautiful as always.
Yes.
The sets, it looks all so believable. All the overgrown patches of like grass in the city and stuff, like everything just looks like at any moment an enemy could just come out of the corner and be like, pew, 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 pew.
Yes.
So there's always like a sense of tension that I appreciate, and I don't know, I feel like that's where my positives kind of
I know
end.
I feel like you're really like digging like just for nothing here. Like it's okay. It's okay if this episode hurt you. It's okay if it didn't do what you wanted it to. It's okay if you didn't really like it.
I just want to let it be known that no matter how good the production value on this show is, I'm very frustrated with the story this time around.
Yeah, I feel like for this episode, my biggest frustration is Ellie.
Once again.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I think it's just the way that they wrote her. She didn't make a lot of sense for me in this episode. And I can't call her conflicted. There's some parts where she is conflicted, but then there's other parts where she's just not making any sense. And I feel like it's the writing. I don't feel like it's like we wrote this character to be conflicted or not to be making sense. That's what we're supposed to take away from that. I don't feel like that's what happened. I just feel like they wrote this and it just really didn't make any sense. The way that they had Ellie's character acting at really crucial points.
Yeah.
And I think that was like my biggest thing that frustrated me with this episode.
Yeah.
And it made it makes me not like Ellie, but I feel like in the game too, watching you play it when I was paying attention, she wasn't likable because I feel like that was supposed to be like the whole thing. She was very dark and murderous and just trying to get to Abby and taking out whoever, basically doing what Joel does or what Joel did. So that's what was really frustrating for me, is just like, this Ellie felt messy and she just didn't make sense.
And I think those are where my frustrations lie too, because there's moments where I like when she's conflicted, but then when she does like this huge 180 in like the next 5 minutes, it's very jarring. And I think that's the problem with having a short season like this. If this was stretched out in like a longer season, you could have time to have a character at one point feel conflicted about one thing, but then gradually over time, they switch over to another feeling. The moment that Ellie is talking to Dina about the truth of what happened to Joel after her encounter with Nora, I really like that scene. I really like that they took the time to be like, I don't know if I want revenge anymore now that I know
Ellie
the truth.
Conflicted. That made sense.
Yeah. And I also I was wondering if they're going to do the line of where Ellie goes, I made her talk, because it took a while to get to that line. I was really like, it also kind of threw me off that she felt like, oh, it was so easy for me to hurt her. But then at the same time, she feels this feeling of like, does Nora really deserve to be killed? Like, she asked that question, like maybe she didn't deserve what I did to her, after Dina says, well, I think she deserved it.
Yeah, I liked her being conflicted about whether Nora deserved what she did to her. Honestly, I would say she didn't.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like that's where I lean towards.
Yeah, I feel like the way that she did it, she didn't deserve it. Even when Nora's just like, yeah, that little bitch got what he deserved, yada, 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 and stuff. I could see how that would trigger Ellie and make her upset, and we already got to the point, but I don't think Nora deserved that. And I know her main goal is to get to Abby. And you mentioned that in the game, you're killing all these, wolves basically just to get to Abby. And we don't really see that here. No. Like, there's like a couple of run-ins, but I feel like they're kind of just dodging them really and just kind of escaping.
Yeah.
There was like one
It's really
kill.
The main friends that she's picking off in the show.
So I guess it makes sense that they have to kind of get to those main points. But I don't think Nora deserved what she did. I like that she's conflicted. And of course, Dina is going to be like, yeah, she deserved it because she doesn't know the whole story. And that's when Ellie tells her, well, the reason why they came here after Joel is because, the Fireflies, the Cure, the doctor, the doctor's daughter was Abby, and then here we are. What did you think about how Dina reacted to that? Like, how did you feel about, like, do you feel like she was like, I regret all this shit?
I think so. The look on her face said it all. She's just like, okay. And then with her just only saying we need to go home, that says it all. That just changed her mind completely, because I think that parallels to the story that she told earlier in the season about her mother and sister being killed. Remember, she mentioned, even if my mother was the first one to cause violence and they killed her, I would go to the ends of the earth to find her killer. That parallels exactly what Joel did. Joel started this first by killing the Fireflies, thus killing Abby's father. So the fact that Dina is confronted with that reality, I think she realizes, okay, I know I said what I said, but I don't believe what I said now. Because now this makes total sense why they're coming after us. I got a freaking arrow in my leg. I'm pregnant. The writers would have to be completely just beyond stupid to write Dina to be like, let's keep going forward. She definitely was turned off by the idea of continuing forward. She definitely doesn't want to do that. And just with her saying, let's go home, that was like the nail in the coffin.
Do you think her feelings have changed towards Ellie?
I don't think so. I think she's like upset with her, but I don't think she's that upset, because like then the next day she gives her that good luck charm. So it's kind of like she
didn't really want to do it, but yeah. No, I get it. I don't feel like her feelings changed completely, but because Ellie didn't know who these people were.
Yeah.
So it all came as like news to her, but she also knew what Joel did as well too. So it's just, I guess Dina's conflicted. I'm conflicted too. It's like Dina's conflicted, but yeah, I thought that was a really interesting scene. And you're right. She's just like, what are we doing here? Like, we need to go home.
Yeah. And unfortunately, they don't seem to want to go home. They just don't want to go home.
So Ellie and Jesse went to go find Tommy? Is
Yes.
that what they were doing before they... Okay.
Which it makes total sense that they would go after Tommy because he's out there on his own. The last thing that Ellie and them want to do is leave behind a family member in this war-torn place.
Because Maria gonna beat their ass.
Yeah, so it makes total sense why they're going after Tommy. Do that and then go back home.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted to happen in the game because I'm like, this story is stupid. I want to turn this off, but clearly it's not going to end that way.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse is talking to Ellie about how basically he's not going to die because he's basically pieced together that he's going to be a father.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you, but I was on his side the whole time that they were arguing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I can't stand Ellie. Like, I can't stand how she's behaving right now at this point. Her and Jesse, she's not being conflicted. She's just being a brat who's now, again, after tearing up, saying everything she said to Dina, she's now, I gotta go get Abby. I gotta let's just go here. And Jesse's just like, we just said we're gonna go get Tommy and we're gonna leave. Mm-hmm. What is all of this? Like, can you chill out? Yes, we're in the place that Abby is, but
Tommy's right there, and we just said we're not going through with this anymore.
And it's just, then she coming at him because he's talking about, wait, we have the scene with the what is it, the Seraphite kid.
Yes.
He gets caught by the wolves and they're dragging him out. They're most likely going to kill him or whatever it is that they do. Mm-hmm. And Ellie wants to go and save the kid. And like...
That threw me off. That was really just bizarre.
I'm like, are you guys got shot in the leg as you saw this group of Seraphites just hanging somebody and like gutting them basically. Mm-hmm. There's clearly something going on. Jesse's just like, this is between these, we don't know what's going on. And he's just like, it's 2 of us and 6 of these people just dragged off this kid. And what were you expecting to do? That was my first thought. I'm like, is she for real?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and this is right after Jesse's like, I'm gonna be a dad. I ain't trying to die. And then she's just like, get off of me. I don't like this. I'm frustrated by it. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm like, why is she doing this?
And I appreciate the attempt that the writers are doing with trying to make Ellie more well-rounded and complicated by being sympathetic towards this kid. But at the end of the day, it just doesn't fit what she's feeling right now. She's like in this space where it's like she has to give up her revenge. Clearly, there's a high priority of getting Dina home. And I get why they want Ellie to be like, but he's just a kid, like we should help him. But it's also like, but you also don't know this kid. You don't know these groups. You don't know why they're fighting. And like you said, it's 6 people against 2 of you. Like you guys would just get killed instantly.
Yeah.
Why do you continue to do these stupid things? It just didn't make sense to me. That was like a weird, inconsistent thing where I don't feel like Ellie would really care about this stranger right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were supposed to make us connect the dots of like, she felt bad about killing Nora, so now she's trying to be more sympathetic towards whoever out there is getting hurt. But it's like,
no, I just want revenge, Ellie. I just want that to be her goal. I want her to be like, all right, we're gonna go drop Dina ass off, and I'm gonna come back here, whatever it is. But I wouldn't be able to buy it if that's what they were trying to do, is to make her like be conflicted and try to like be better and save this kid after what she did to Nora. I'm not buying it, and it's stupid, and I'm tired of Ellie being stupid. I get that she's like still hurt about Joel. She wants to go after Abby. Abby's probably like right there. We'll say Abby's right there. This is her only chance, maybe. But she's just being stupid. And I don't like that she throws the fact that they didn't save the kid in Jesse's face later on when he's talking about community. And she's just like, what do you care about community? You just let that kid die, basically. And I'm just like, are you serious? Jesse is your community. She mentions that Joel was her community, and she watched her community basically get bludgeoned to that in front of her while she watched. And that's not just your community. You and Joel were part of a community. Joel wasn't just yours. And it's just like she wasn't just Joel's as well, too. That's where I'm just getting so frustrated with these characters. I'm like, if you guys are going to try to write something new and make it seem like, oh, Ellie's conflicted, blah, 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 why don't you actually write something new and let her realize that you can't just run off and do these random things and then, I don't know, spit in your community's face. I'm not vibing with it. I don't get it. That's what I was so frustrated with her. And then that's why I was just like, I don't want anything to happen to Jesse, because he's talking like these are his final words. And I think I was just getting so frustrated because I was like, they're probably going to do it. And I got sick and tired of Ellie.
Yeah.
I really did. So I feel like in the show, seeing what happens to Jesse was more frustrating and hurtful than seeing it in the game. Mm-hmm. Their relationship seems different in the game than it does in the show. Mm-hmm. And just the character of Jesse, I feel like they were really getting us to understand him better. Him talking to Ellie, trying to like talk some sense into her and saying like, he has goals. He's like, I'm trying to be the next Maria. I'm about to be a dad.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Ellie. And she's just like not giving a shit. But then she's like backtracking.
Yeah.
You don't care about anybody but Joel, and Joel's not here.
I will say the writing is consistent with what happens in the game. Mm-hmm. The only difference is the game does a little less of the wishy-washiness of Ellie. Mm-hmm. She's more consistently fixated on revenge since getting to Seattle, whereas in the show, we just get this back and forth of like, okay, I want revenge. No, I don't want revenge. I want revenge. I don't want revenge. And I think that makes it extra frustrating for the adaptation. Mm-hmm. I think that's like the major flaw that I'm seeing with this TV adaptation is we're not seeing the Ellie that's fixated on revenge. Because 1 minute she is fixated, but then the next she's like completely like on the opposite end. Even in the game when Ellie and Jesse separate, I also thought that was a very stupid point. That was like the point where I'm just like, all right, I don't like Ellie. Mm-hmm. Like I'm really not liking this character, and they are staying true to what they did with Ellie in the game, which I ultimately hate. and unfortunately the only way that I could be satisfied with the character is if they fundamentally change the story. Like I've mentioned that before in our earlier episodes, but this continues to make me double down on the fact that I don't like this story. I don't like where they're going with Ellie. Not because it's like, oh, I hate revenge or anything. I think there are really good revenge stories. I just don't think they're executing it well here because she doesn't always convince me that she does want revenge. Yeah. Especially at this point where you've got conflicting feelings and regrets about killing Nora. You see that you have a friend or a lover that needs serious medical attention and needs to go home. You need to go find your damn uncle who, for all you know, could be dead out there. Nothing about that makes me convinced that she would want to go after Abby when they get to the point where they're hearing Tommy's sniper gunshots, but then Ellie pieces together that the aquarium is where Abby is.
Yeah.
At that point, I just couldn't buy into the fact that Ellie would separate from Jesse, especially with all the talks that they've had about like Jesse being about community. And I'm sorry, but yeah, he's right. I think he is a good person. I think he's someone that puts other people first. Mm-hmm. And then Ellie is the one that is being very selfish, but it's not like a convincing selfish Ellie because not just a few minutes before, you were perfectly fine with leaving this place.
Yeah.
The two different Ellies are frustrating for like the same reasons, but the execution is somehow worse in the show.
I guess that's what it is.
And I don't want this to be an excuse for a lot of you crazy Last of Us fans who are like haters of Bella Ramsey and haters of the show for irrational, stupid fucking reasons. I'm going based off of some writing inconsistencies here, while a lot of the extremist fans just are hating on this Ellie because they don't like Bella's face, appearance, or the fact that she doesn't look badass enough or whatever. Like those are not the same. Like we are not the same. Don't get this twisted, please.
Not like us.
You are not like us.
Yeah, no, I really just don't like the character of Ellie. I'm not liking who she's become, who she's trying to become, what she thinks she is. I'm not liking her. And I think this episode really just like solidified that feeling for me that I really just, I'm like, whoa, I'm grossed out by Ellie right now because what are you doing? Why are you talking to your friend like this?
So let's get to Isaac, because we get a little shot of him doing these war plans and for some reason fixating on Abby.
Oh, yeah. He's got a little crush on her segment.
I really don't care about this stupid war. It really
not right now. Maybe
not now, but season? They're obviously teasing this out so that they can flesh out more of what's going on in the war. But again, this is the problem with splitting up seasons. I feel like the same way that we got more information on why Abby did what she did sooner in the story rather than later, I think we should have got more context and information on why the hell the wolves are fighting the Seraphites. We don't really get much information at this point, and I feel like we really should in order to care about this stuff that's going on. Because I feel like they're trying to tie in similar themes of hate and vengeance with the big war that's going on, and then with what's going on with Ellie and Abby. And I don't know, how have you been feeling about this subplot so far? Because I don't feel like it's really done anything for this season.
They're like little mini commercial breaks in between like what's going on with Ellie. Because, yeah, honestly, all I care about is what's going on with Ellie. When's she going to get to Abby? How's that going to work? When she's going to find more of Abby's group and interact with them. I'm waiting for her to interact with Manny. I don't know if that ever happens. But, yeah, I hope she really, gets that one. And I'm interested, but I know it's for season 3. So I'm not really invested in any of it. I'm not worried about Isaac and what he's doing, honestly. Let me just see. Is Ellie going to get to Abby or get to the next people in Abby's group?
Yeah.
So she's like a step closer to Abby.
Yeah, me being a gamer and obviously knowing what's ahead, it was somehow still very frustrating for me to not know about the wolves and the Seraphites. Even though I have the context, because I don't know how they're going to change things and update things in the show. Because sometimes I like what they do. Like every time we do these cold opens where we get scenes with characters that never happen in the game.
Yeah.
I somehow get more interested because, first of all, the acting's really good, but then the story is also kind of interesting. I'm like, I want to know more about Isaac because we barely get anything about him in the game.
Yeah.
And I want to know more about why the hell these people decided to become the WLF, because they're just Fedra 2.0. That flashback that we got where Fedra got taken over by citizens, basically, and then they just became their own military. I just feel like, what is the point? Like, you guys just became your enemy, and now it looks like a bunch of you guys are just assholes. We never see, like, actual civilian life. Yeah. It looks like the town is completely just not livable, so we see by the end of the season that there's, like, this huge military base where it looks like all life is centered in a stadium. Yeah. So it's like, I wish we got more context sooner for me to actually care about this adaptation of the wolves, because we almost get nothing about the Seraphites, just them getting killed or them lynching people. I think it really bothers me because this clearly connects to Neil Druckmann's inspiration for why he created the 2 games, which is he's Israeli and he literally says that he follows Israeli politics. Like he got inspired by this piece of news where 2 Israeli soldiers were killed by a group of Palestinians, but he never antagonized the question as to why they would do something like that. Like knowing everything that we know now at this point, it's just like he says that he tries to investigate the feelings of why he felt feelings of wanting revenge and anger towards the Palestinians that did that. But I feel like the show is going nowhere with that. Like, it doesn't dig deep into why the WLF is fighting the Seraphites. I feel like there's clear parallels with these 2 groups being like, the WLF is Israel, the Palestinians are Seraphites. I don't know about you, but like, I feel like clearly the antagonizer here would be the WLF, like the people with like the functioning tank that we just saw early in the season. Yeah. We see people with just like some crossbows. I don't think any single one of the the Seraphites have any type of gun. I'm pretty sure we just saw crossbows, some bows and arrows, knives, some hooks.
Yeah, that's. I hope that they will touch on basically who started it, because I feel like that's going to be very important since they're teasing all these scenes, and we know that season 3 is going to basically be about this war. Yeah. So I feel like they're going to have to let us know which comes first, the chicken or the egg, basically.
Yeah, because I didn't like that throwaway line. It's like, no, the chicken or the egg is pretty important, because wars don't happen because.
Yeah, there's a reason. Someone starts it, even if it's for something stupid. You know, whatever the reason is, someone had to start it.
Yeah, because they're clearly trying to make parallels between the WLF and Seraphite war with Ellie and Abby. We know that Joel is the one that instigated this whole cycle of violence where he decided to take out the Fireflies, didn't realize that there would be consequences to that, and then Abby retaliates, which I feel like you can make a very strong argument Abby's justified in getting her vengeance, because it's not just the fact that she lost her dad. She lost many members of her group, and then on top of that, the possibility for a cure is gone. Yeah. Which the creators did say, like, recently that in this world, a cure would have worked. Yeah. So that is a lot of reasons to be like, I need to go after you.
Yeah, it is.
But with the war going on, it's like, I know you're trying to make parallels here, but you're taking like this weird, stupid, neutral stance where it's like, oh, both of these are equally weird assholes. It's like the military is just a bunch of grunts, and then the Seraphites are like this religious cult, which feels like very direct parallels to caricatures of how Western media portrays Muslim people and people of Palestine. And it gives me the ick. It right now it's giving me the ick. And if season 3 doesn't touch on who did it first and really antagonize the WLF, because I think they're the clear aggressor.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that would make the story even worse, because those were the feelings that I had in the game. So I'm curious to see if they'll touch on that in season 3. But I just really needed to see a reason of why these two were fighting, because so far the connection is not even there for me between Ellie and Abby and this big ass war.
I feel like they're giving us these clips and showing us the stuff going on just for it to be obstacles for Ellie and her group.
Yeah.
That's pretty much...
That's all it's been so far.
So I feel like they want us to like pay attention to it just a little bit, but also I just feel like you can kind of ignore it because we don't get any sort of information out of this, just that they're warring and who knows how it started. They don't even know at this point, it seems like.
Yeah.
I don't pay much attention to those scenes.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
That is a problem.
And that's not your fault. That's the writing.
I don't, because I know I'm not going to get anything out of it. I'm just like, okay, we're on the last episode of this season.
Yeah, ain't no way they're going to flesh this out.
Yeah, there's no way without taking away what they need to show right now, which is Ellie's side of this time in Seattle.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get Abby's side of those 3 days in Seattle as well, too.
If they do further investigate the war and how it started, I just feel like it's going to be some neutral bullshit thing, because the creator seems to be very like centrist about the issue, and it doesn't help that he has a whole pro-Israel post like on his Instagram too. So you can't really be neutral about something you've already chosen a side on.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the writing's going to be next season. I'll be curious to find out, but I don't have a lot of hope. We get to the point where Ellie kills Abby's friends Owen and Mel. Tell me about this scene. What were your feelings during this moment where Ellie finds these two?
Well, I couldn't wait for Owen to die. I don't like him. Didn't like him in the
game. I
do
not like him. We don't know shit about him in this season.
Maybe I'm biased because I know him in the game, and they're a little different. A lot of the characters, like, they're the characters, but they're slightly different. This Mel is definitely softer than the Mel in the game. No, that was a really good scene. I like that Ellie was like, you're going to show me where Abby is on this map, and then you're going to show me, and it better match up, because it just brought me back to Joel in that scene when he was looking for Ellie. I really liked the change they made in that scene, because I know in the game, Ellie shoots Owen, and then Mel charges at her, and they have a bit of a struggle. I like that she asked Ellie to basically do a C-section.
That was the craziest fucking request I've ever seen.
I hated that.
Person.
Ellie had no idea what she's talking about, and I don't know if it's like,
how could Ellie know anything?
I know. I'm like, I don't know if I'm being fair.
What the fuck is transverse? I don't know what transverse is.
I was just like, okay, that makes sense.
I don't know how I feel about the change. I thought it was very interesting. Not that I didn't like it. It was just what was the reasoning behind it, which I think you mentioned that the little podcasting that they do after the episode, they talked about it. I think the only reason they did that is to make it more intimate for Ellie to really come to terms with like, holy shit, like I need to stop killing people because this is beyond brutal.
She does too. I mean, she realizes
that Mel's pregnant when she kills her too in the game.
She's already dead. I mean, either way, Mel ends up dead. But I also feel like this scene brings her back to Dina. And what if it was Dina? Like that whole entire thing. Nobody wants to kill a pregnant lady.
Yeah.
And it hits close to home because Dina's pregnant.
Yeah, I just can't tell if it makes this show even more mean-spirited than the game. Because for you to ask the person that killed you to try to deliver this baby, it's like, but I'm kind of over the whole thing of like, Ellie keeps feeling shitty. These horrible things keep happening. And it just feels relentless. And I'm just like, I just don't want this story to happen anymore. I keep going back to that. It's like, I'm tired of seeing people getting picked off. It's like, and then I also don't feel that much for the character because I don't know much about Mel at this point. I don't know about Owen.
That is true.
In theory, like in this adaptation, I know about them from the games, but
yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter how much you know about them. There's certain situations and certain people you come across, characters you come across where you're going to have some sort of sympathy for them. She's a pregnant woman. Like fuck Owen, like nobody, he's just an Owen, like he's just we got a bunch of Owens and stuff, and I mean, but it's just, who really wants to hurt a kid? Yeah, that's why I guess they did the whole thing with Ellie wanted to save that kid. Who wants to hurt a pregnant lady? And I think changing that helps Ellie have that, confliction where she's just like, what do? I wouldn't do this. This is not what I wanted to do, was to kill this woman and her baby. But this is what happens. This is another consequence of you wanting to get revenge. This is not just of her wanting to get revenge. This is a consequence of Abby getting revenge as well too. Her friends love her and are going to back her. That's what they did. Now they have to deal with the consequences of that too.
Yeah.
Just like, and it's just funny to me. It's Abby and Ellie, they're the same when it comes to this revenge. Just like Joel didn't think anything was going to happen. He was just going to save Ellie and walk away. That caught up with him 5 years later, how many years later that was. Same thing with Abby. Look at what you're doing. You came, you killed this guy. You think nobody gives a shit about him and nobody's going to come after you? So
that's kind of the whole stupidity of the story for me.
It's just like, it's never ending cycle of revenge, back and forth, back and forth. So I think that's just to make Ellie feel, we know they need to just stop. We're waiting for them to catch up to that.
Yeah, which makes it a very frustrating experience story-wise. But there's like no moment of Ellie sitting with the fact that she just killed 2 people and one of them were pregnant. And I kind of wish that they added a scene of, I don't know, Tommy or somebody consoling Ellie and talking about just the fact that you just killed a pregnant person.
I mean, they did for like 2 seconds. Tommy's just like, yeah, they deserved it. Tommy, he's basically like, yeah, he's like, they deserve it, or they had it coming, whatever it is he said. It seems a little odd, and it was very quick. Like you said, they glossed over it.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that from Tommy. I feel like in the game, in the game, Tommy isn't a dad. He is out for revenge for Joel. That makes more sense for him to say, like, yeah, they got what they deserve. For this one, they could have done a little change in the writing here, where maybe Tommy said you did what you had to do, not knowing like the full situation, but just thinking like you did what you had to do. Like I know you wouldn't kill a pregnant lady, but because he's a dad. And I didn't feel like that line was fitting of this Tommy.
Especially since Ellie didn't have to do this. She sought these people out. Yeah,
she didn't. She really didn't have to do it, but they kind of just glossed over that. You could see her thinking about it and sitting with it for a second, but it just happened so quickly where it's just like, okay, time to leave. We got to get out of here. And that's it. And
then she just goes, so Abby gets to live. Like, that's really what she was sitting with, really, more than anything else.
Yeah.
It was just like, you're still thinking about Abby at this point? Like, what the fuck? That was, again, when she brought that line up where it's just so Abby gets to live, I couldn't buy into that because I just can't believe that she would still want to go after Abby at that point. Like, yeah, you are you thinking of still going back out there and finding this person after what you just did? Again, fucking tonal inconsistencies here, and it's extremely frustrating. And then we get to your big favorite moment. We hear that there's a commotion right outside the theater.
I was really hoping that Jessie, my lovely Jessie, would not die. There's no point. There wasn't a point in killing him in the game. There's no point in killing him now, and they still did it anyway.
They were telegraphing it the whole episode.
I was just hoping maybe they were,
I'm not gonna die out here. This is not our war.
So I thought they were gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna make him seem like he's gonna die, and then we're not gonna kill him because what's the point in killing him? And then with me feeling like there's a rift between Dina and Ellie, I wasn't expecting Dina and Jessie to get back together, but they were gonna co-parent, and I don't know. I really just didn't think they should have killed him. And it was just like spot on, same thing. And
it's shot for shot. No pun intended. It's exactly like in the game, shot for shot.
You're rude.
Too soon.
Too soon. Too soon. After Ellie was such an asshole, I'm like, this guy deserves to live. He deserves to live. And now he's going to die because of Ellie. I blame Ellie. I don't care.
It basically is. All of it is her fault, her and Dina's, because they both decided to come all the way out here, sneak out, and not tell anybody.
Yeah, but also Ellie didn't go to the little island, to the aquarium, whatever that was. They would have gotten Tommy, they would have got back, and they would have left. And Abby wouldn't be upset that her, friends are dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I also feel like this death wasn't necessary. It feels excessive. It goes back to like my main complaints about the game. It's like they just continue to pile on the trauma and the pain and anguish that you, the player, and Ellie go through. Because the game and the story is just, it's intentionally being mean-spirited. It's very cynical. And it's only going to get darker from here. I'm not going to say details here, but season 3 and then the potential season 4, I have confidence that it's only going to get darker and worse. We're going to dislike Ellie even more with her choices moving forward. And I really wish they just pulled back on it a bit and just kept Jessie alive. Yeah. Because I'm sure that they're keeping this moment because you need reasons for Ellie to continue to want revenge. You have to keep stacking bodies for Ellie to be like, no, I'm going to keep going after Abby.
But I don't want her to keep going.
That's the thing. I don't know how other audiences out there feel. You can let us know, but at this point, I really don't see any sense in trying to go after her anymore. Just the fact that Dina was pregnant, that alone should have been enough to be like, turn the fuck back, give up on this. That's kind of how I felt in the game. I think you could have spared Jesse here because I think you could still do your revenge story with Ellie without picking off Jesse.
Mm-hmm. Now that Jesse's dead, it just makes it even worse. She didn't get to tell Jesse that she was pregnant. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure Ellie's going to be like, yeah, he knew. It's just going to make it so much more worse because you explained why you guys were here in the first place because of Joel and what Joel did. Mm-hmm. Your baby daddy's gone because of what y'all did. Why? It's just, I'd be mad at Ellie. She doesn't have to hate her and not love her anymore. They can still have their relationship, whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be really difficult. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to make Dina feel about any of this. Mm-hmm. But I'm just like, if you would have just kept Jesse alive, there's already a rift in their relationship with her telling her what Joel did and why they're here and they really shouldn't be there. Mm-hmm. But Jesse being dead just makes it so much more worse.
And I'm not looking forward to the rest of the story now that we see that Abby's caught up and she's right there about to kill Tommy, and then she points the gun at Ellie and then we hear the pop, but then we see that we're going to see Abby's perspective when we see her in day one of Seattle. I don't know, how did you feel about the ending?
I was a little like just frustrated because I'm like, I want to know what's going to happen. And then I was like, oh, they were like Seattle day one basically with Abby, and I was like, I guess it makes sense to know what the hell was going on with her this whole time. I don't know. I feel like I have mixed feelings. Do I like that they showed us that little clip of her day one? Mm-hmm. Or I don't know. I feel like maybe it should have just waited for the next season because that's how the next season's basically going to open. If anything, they have to go and tell us what was going on with Abby for the past 3 days. So it was, I don't know. It's like kind of like they gave us a preview, but it was still the episode. So I'm not really sure how I feel about it.
I get why they did that. I just, either way, whether you cut to black or do this, it just didn't feel like a good place to end a season. And I knew it was going to stop here. I mentioned earlier in the previous episode that I basically knew where the season was going to stop based on the events that we witnessed so far. Mm-hmm. And I knew from like that moment, I was just like, this is not going to feel right. I'll be very curious to see how the general public is feeling about this season finale. Mm-hmm. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of mixed results with people. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people that are just going to be frustrated that it just feels like the story is just now starting. Yeah. We see Ellie and Abby together and then that's it. You just cut off and then there's way more story to go on, and that was always my biggest concern, and that's exactly kind of what I got, is a disappointing season finale. It just doesn't feel like a finale to a season. It just feels like a cliffhanger for next week's episode.
Yeah, I would have liked more episodes. I don't know if doing like 12 episodes we could have gotten Abby's perspective for the next 3 days in some episodes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a weird place to end, just knowing a little bit of how the game goes, but this was the best option for them, giving us the 7 episodes that they did. If they would have tried to take out anything or squeeze in anything more, it would have made us like not like what we already don't like. Yeah,
for me the solution is give us longer fucking seasons. I don't care that now you guys decided to make more expensive movie level quality shows. We're getting a lot of TV shows that have very unsatisfying seasons, and I'm sorry, but we're spoiled. Like we grew up on a generation of television that knew how to space things out and pace things out and give you proper season finales. These fucking baby-sized seasons, like, I don't care if an episode's like an hour and a half long, like, give us more episodes.
No one knows how to write an ending. No one knows how to properly, like, wrap up a season so we can get into a next one.
Yeah, I'm tired of taking what we get. I'm gonna keep yelling about this shit. We can't just condition ourselves to be like, all right, I guess we're going to get Last of Us Season 3, Part 2, Part 1, Part 0. Like, look at what happened with Attack on Titan. Like, come on. We need to stop these piecemealings of, like, a complete story. Like, it doesn't make for a good viewing experience because there's barely a really progressive arc in Ellie's story from episode 1 to episode 7. There's really not much of a change. It's just a lot of unbelievable changes of back and forth of wanting revenge and not wanting revenge. Like, it just condenses everything, and it just really needed more time to breathe with this kind of story. But I feel like no matter what, I was just going to be disappointed with what we get because ultimately the source material is not something that I enjoy. And I've been hoping that the adaptation makes enough changes where I could get on board with this. And so far there are like some changes here and there that I've liked, mainly like additional scenes that have nothing to do with the game. But in terms of the overall story, it's still falling flat for me. The revenge story overall is like the main problem. It's just stupid to go out and get revenge in this place that you know nothing about.
Yeah.
You're barely armed enough, and then now look at where you're at. You got a pregnant girlfriend with a fucking arrowed ass fucking leg. You got a dead Jesse, and I don't know how to feel about watching a season 3.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, I know you're gonna watch it either way. Whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I wonder if a lot of people who play the games, or even people who don't, maybe people are just sick and tired of the hurt or the Ellie or whatever.
Yeah.
People feel conflicted about whether they would want to watch the next season.
Yeah, because I'm more curious about the non-gamers, because this adaptation is for non-gamers mainly.
Yeah.
They're trying to bring in a bigger audience. So I'm really curious to see how people feel about this season finale and then what future seasons we'll have.
Yeah. I enjoyed bits and pieces of this season. I don't know. I'm thinking about like what I would rate it. I'm like a little conflicted.
Like Ellie?
Not like her. Was a lot more to pick at than the first season.
Way more.
Like, I felt like I was, I don't know. I don't want to like be like that person just like dogging it, but I felt like there was a lot of things I was picking at, and I'm not someone who played the game. I feel like I would honestly rate this maybe like a baked potato. I wanted to give it a loaded potato because I enjoyed a lot of scenes, but then there's just so many things I didn't like about Ellie's character. Just a lot of empty space with, you know, the Seraphites and the wolves. It doesn't give season 1 vibes. Like, I'm not loving it. And I don't know if it's just like the poor writing of characters and making these good actors have to play these characters that don't seem to be well written.
I'm just giving this a salty spud. That just
So
a 2 out of 5 stars. It's Neil Druckmann's fault for making a game that honestly is very divisive. A lot of people say it's a masterpiece, but that word gets tossed around like fucking nothing. There's a lot of people that have very conflicted feelings to negative feelings about the game's story, and I'm one of those people. I really genuinely do not like the story. I don't like the source material very much, and the fact that they're still true to that source material is the problem with this season. There's standout episodes. I really love the Joel flashback scene. That's like this version's Bill and Frank story.
yeah,
But just 1 or 2 standout episodes isn't enough to sustain a whole season.
that's true.
With a lot of loose ends with the war, with, again, like you mentioned, the character decisions with Ellie, and just overall not having Joel and Ellie as the main part of the story is ultimately the problem here. I really don't think this story lends itself well without these two together. The whole revenge thing where it looks like it's just like, ooh, an eye for an eye makes the world blind type of thing. Just, it's stereotypical so far. It's frustrating. I don't want to say boring. It's more frustrating. And yeah, I wrestled with it too. I wanted to give it a baked potato, but I'm like, I feel like I'm being too nice if I do that. Like,
damn.
I just
yeah, no, I was like, I'm in the middle because I don't love
I get
it,
why
but I
you
don't
gave it
hate
that
it.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't play the game, and I don't know. I'm thinking you mentioned the revenge. I'm really just thinking chicken and the egg type of thing again. With Ellie and Joel's story, and now bringing Abby into it, who started it? I really can't say it's Joel that started so much because of the Fireflies' agenda as well too, with Marlene and not telling Joel, not telling Ellie exactly what they were doing.
No, that's true. Yeah.
It just, I don't know if now I'm blaming the Fireflies for all this, but you know, it's just, it's the cycle. And it basically got passed down to Ellie and Abby. I guess I'm just not a revenge person unless I know like it's just going to end with like my revenge and that's it.
And that's the thing. You never
know.
know.
Because look, 5 years later for Joel, and then a couple months later, or many months later for Abby, all her friends. And it's just like a back and forth. And in a world that's lawless and they ain't got nothing else to do, it feels like tired and old. Like the revenge is already tired and old in the season.
It's very easy for revenge to get stale because a revenge story in itself doesn't sustain for very much. It has to be deeper than just revenge.
Yeah.
And this is basically just, this show is spinning its wheels with the whole revenge thing. Well, so far we're just seeing people getting their licks back left and right, and it's not becoming something more. That's the main problem. It's not like a John Wick movie where we can get behind a dude mowing down people because they killed his puppy. Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll suspend my disbelief for that.
Yeah.
For something like this that's supposed to be grounded, it just feels like it's just going in circles. And it's like, what is the main point here? What are we trying to gain here? And to have just 7 episodes here that just, it's like an arc that just stops here. It's just like, it doesn't make for a satisfying story for me. So that's why I'm giving it like a salty spud. I just feel like it fundamentally fails at telling a cohesive story. Ultimately, I'm a fan of The Last of Us. Even with all like the real world and in-world problems with it, I really like the first game's story with all its flaws and it's all its best features. So I'm very curious and want to continue with season 3 and beyond.
It's okay to critique it. Like that's
what we do. We critique about the things we love.
How do we know we don't like it unless we don't watch it?
Yeah, for all we know, maybe season 3 will be radically, writtenly different that will win me over. I don't know.
Maybe you will watch a couple episodes and then you'll be like, yeah, I'm not doing this, and just stop, and then you won't hear from us on that again. Yeah, but it's okay to critique it. It's okay to not like it. I didn't think you were going to rate it so low, but I know that you already didn't really love the story playing the game anyway. So I was hoping for something. You were like, oh, an adaptations changed, they're not exactly like the original, so you were hoping that they would give you something to like and change your mind about the story. So I get that. Not
enough of y'all are critiquing the stuff that you love. Like, I'm sorry, I critique all my favorite things. Like, I think most of y'all really have a problem with other people pointing out flaws and things. Like, it's okay to do. Like, you didn't make this property, you don't own it. Like, you just like it. Just chill out. You're good. Not
everything is perfect. It might be perfect for someone else. It might work for someone else. Just like you said, this show works for people who've never played the game. It really works for them. So that's just what it is.
Well, those are all our thoughts on this episode and season of The Last of Us. Let us know all your thoughts below. If you're angry with our opinions, do so with respect, with facts. Back it up with observations. Explain. Again, the because. Yes. Give us the because.
I want an intro, and then I want like the cheese and the lettuce and the meat, and then the conclusion, the hamburger buns. We all did it in elementary. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's gonna have diverse opinions on this episode and the season as a whole. So let us know all your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know your thoughts on the season. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hit notification bells. Share this with your friends, your zombies, your WLFs, your Seraphites.
Your baby daddy's Jesse.
Yes. And we will see you guys on the next one. Peace.